Hello, I'd like to present initiatives and referendums in Arizona. I'm going to go over the basic definition of referendums and initiatives. Initiatives, the basic definition is a process that allows citizens to propose new laws or amendments to existing laws by gathering a specific number of signatures from registered voters. There are two types of initiatives: the constitutional initiative and the statutory initiative. The constitutional initiative allows students to propose a new law or amendment on an existing one with a petition and a ballot. The petition requires 15% of the voters' population to endorse it, and it must be approved through the ballot. Statutory initiatives allow citizens to propose new everyday laws such as criminal, education, tax, and spending mandates. This petition requires 10% of the voter population to endorse it with their signatures. And it also then must be approved by a ballot. Referendums are the legislators' ability to act. So a referendum is a method for the legislature to overturn a law or part of law, as well as amendments to the Constitution. And they just need, for most of the referendums, the majority votes in both the House and the Senate. The exceptions are the statutory referendum by voter petition or the popular referendum, which allows the voter to kill a bill, and the constitutional referendum, which still requires approval through ballot. There are three types of referendums. Two of them are specifically through the legislature. The constitutional referendum is when the legislature proposes an amendment. The House and the Senate must independently approve of the proposal, and each with a majority vote. There still is the ballot for the voters to approve, to vote for. The statutory referendum by legislative referral is when the legislature proposes an ordinary law to the voters or to the governor. The traditional way is through the governor. And again, the statutory referendum by voter petition or the popular referendum is the action when the legislature is able to propose something and it goes through and the governor approves it, but the people still have the right to the veto power over the governor and the legislature. They will need approximately 5% of signatures to do it, and it still has to be approved and voted on. The steps to preparing an initiative or a referendum are very similar. Actually, they're identical. There are 7 steps: establishing a political committee using the Arizona Secretary of State's online system, submitting the application for a serial number to the Arizona Secretary of State's office, obtaining the necessary referendum or initiative petitions from the Arizona State Secretary of State's office, ensuring that any paid or out-of-state circulars be registered with the Arizona Secretary of State's office, collecting the signatures from eligible voters by circulating the petition. And again, each item, referendum or initiative, when it involves the people, have percentages of the voter population that they're required to have to have the petition reviewed by the Secretary of State as well as county recorders. Submitting the circulation of the petition to the Secretary of State's office by the statutory date or the initiative date. So they each have dates that they're required to submit these proposals. So the process is identical, except that they're submitting to the specific requirements, whether it's initiative application or it's a statutory or it's a referendum application. Comparisons, there are two key comparisons that I noted. One comparison is that initiatives are designed to propose new amendments and modify existing ones or existing laws, while referendums are used as rejection to existing amendments and laws. Another difference is that not all referendums require a petition to be distributed among the citizenry. The vote for referendums is legislative. So it's a majority vote within the House and the Senate, and they can then be approved, usually through the approval of the governor. And again, the exception is the statutory referendum by voters or the popular referendum, but that also requires that the petition have 5% of the voter population, and the petition is also being submitted by the public. The pros and cons. Initiatives, the pros are that the initiatives support the involvement of voters in the amendment and lawmaking process. The cons, and it's the cons of the referendum, is the initiative is not an immediate process. It's a lengthy process that requires a lot of support and communication with the legislature. Referendums pros are that it allows effective government because they can expedite processes without including the petition process. The con of that is that it bypasses the citizenry. So if there's something that the government wants to pass through, they can move it forward without including the citizenry. But fortunately, because it's a direct democracy, there are things like the statutory referendum by voters and the constitutional referendum, which both require involvement of the people. So there's, again, the popular referendum or the statutory referendum by voters allows the public to kill the bill that's been approved by the governor and passed by the Senate and the House. And the constitutional referendum, it is a proposal by the legislature, but it still needs to be voted on by the people. Initiatives and referendums support the idea of direct democracy in the way that it prevents the legislator from moving forward without the support of the public, but it also encourages the public to be involved in the democratic process of decision making. So it encourages them to create initiatives and veto referendums. It also allows them to legally challenge measures that are being taken, if they don't like them. Through the initiatives and the veto process and the legislative referred amendments, it supports the citizens in being involved in both the statutes and the Constitution. So the whole process requires the public to be involved to the degree that they can, whether it's 15% when it's an initiative, or it's 5% when it's a popular referendum, which is combating a law that the public does not support. So the initiatives and the referendums process supports direct democracy through both the application process, requiring them to communicate with the legislator, and the ballot process, which allows them to vote for or against something they don't approve of. That is my presentation on initiatives and referendums. Thank you very much.